Hi, everyone. Happy World Environment Day and a warm hearted welcome to everyone joining us today. World Environment Day was established by the United Nations in 1972 and was first celebrated in 74. This year, the UN has a special focus on biodiversity and celebrating nature. And we at Flipkart and Myntra want to take this opportunity to put a spotlight on sustainability across the group.
The new age Indian shoppers are very conscious of their fashion choices, and brands like Tavi offer them options of sustainable clothing. We've also been pioneering the use of greener technology in our facilities. Last year, we've installed a solar rooftop in one of our FCs. Today, we're generating power on a self-sustaining basis. This is a massive step in reducing the carbon footprint.
So, ladies and gentlemen, these COVID times have made us all sit back and reflect. How firm is the ground we stand on? What will our future look like? Will it be marred with the same degree of uncertainties like our present? Can we limit these uncertainties? How do we build a future that is more quote-unquote sustainable?
Sustainable business is effectively about three things in the face of these areas of dynamism and trends. Being responsible about your impacts, making sure you're covering the basic foundations of legislation and meeting international standards on environmental and social issues, but being resilient in the face of possible futures that these trends could bring as well, being kind of alive and understanding of Adash's point of being, short-sighted companies often fail, and you foresee how to be resilient. And then I think the final one is acting in a way that is regenerative to society and environment, that's reducing the likelihood of future shocks. Nobody wants to go through more difficulty than they have to as a business.
Point I just want to make here is that when we talk about sustainability and sustainable development, people, environment, nature, what we're actually talking about is India. And the world has signed up to lift people out of poverty by 2030 through these sustainable development goals, to protect and restore nature, to fight climate change, to change our economic system to factor in externalities. That's what the world has signed up to. And when you look at the numbers, probably half of that will happen in India. And it's already happening, and actually Flipkart's driving it.
We can't do it alone, of course. We need to collaborate. This is a hard problem to solve. And I'm sure with our scope and scale, we will be able to bring partners like yourself, those millions of sellers, suppliers, civil society organizations, so that we can inspire positive changes across all three spectrums: social, economic, and environmental. We want to make sure that there is a dignity about employment, safety, and bringing more economic opportunity, safer and healthier products. Also build consumer trust as we sort of lead this, build social. You talked about supply chain resilience and efficiency. When you look at the COVID crisis, early lockdown, if some of you have seen in India, supply chain was completely mismanaged, disrupted fully. Now, when it's not an easy solve, but when I look at this supply chain and I look at the talent that we have in Flipkart from a technology perspective, I can tell you the enormous opportunity that we have at our hand as a company from a people perspective is transforming the supply chain of this country, make sure that we have full visibility of our resources, full visibility of our labor, and using technology to do that, you can actually save enormous amount of wastage that happens in today's supply chain, which is extremely important when you look at resilience. You don't need to really only think about resilience for your own supply chain. You need to also look at, can we as a company, and this is an important part for us as we look at sustainability, can we as a company transform and make it the supply chain of the country different than what it is today, resilient as a country. And I think that will be an important play.
How does an enterprise really define strategies which take them into the future? And that's where I feel leadership is key. And when I see leadership, it's at the end of one spectrum, which starts from compliance, let's say. Whether you are EHS compliant, or whether you are complying with all safety standards, environment, health, safety standards, where you are complying with all ESG guidelines. So that's the basic that you have to do to be in business. The second bit is resilience, wherein you are really resilient to shocks that could impact you in the near future. And I think that's still a very defensive strategy. And the third bit, which I think Flipkart is doing really well, is innovation. I think you are an innovative enterprise wherein you can redefine the whole commerce in the country by launching e-commerce. I think that's where the real new definition of business comes in, by innovating with agility.
One of the things that we pride ourselves a lot is in making sure that we are very innovative in the way we do sustainability. Not innovative in the end result. End result has to be the same. If you have to eliminate plastic, you have to eliminate plastic. There's no two way around it. But we need to be very, very smart in how we do it. Can we eliminate plastics? Can we do something else? There are multiple ways to make sure that we reach the same end goal, but it needs to make sure that the corporate sustainability as well as environment sustainabilities are done hand in hand.
As an individual, for me, it was actually very simple. As a father, right? I mean, I get health insurance, I get life insurance, I get all of these aspects to take care of the family, right? And interestingly, when you look at it, taking care of our environment and actually kind of seriously investing into sustainable means is the only one way to take care of the future of my kids. And the fact that they can actually have a meaningful and life in the right environments. Right? We are actually at the center of so many communities, and we are at such scale that anything and everything that we actually do is extremely meaningful.
It's really important to continually show the value to the business and be really practical about it, because this will only take root and grow and thrive when every individual employee, as Pramit also talked about, feels a sense of ownership and drives this. And that only happens when we're really showing the value. Second, we need to really simplify this. Sustainability is not an easy topic, it's complex. And really, I think to take hold and take root, it needs to be simplified so everybody can understand what it means for their individual roles. And finally, I would say that as a leader, this is not about setting our own goals and setting a high bar for ourselves. What we're trying to do as an e-commerce company that is really trying to be a leader in sustainability and responsibility is to set the bar for the industry.
So this was the first virtual conference that we conducted for Flipsters for the year 2020, and I think very true to the theme of sustainability, the entire conference was organized online virtually for both the speakers and Flipkart and Myntra employees to participate. Thus we were able to significantly reduce our carbon footprint, yet pull off a very successful conference where we had a lot of people log in and kickstart the dialogue and conversation and get people thinking about sustainability and how it can become a way of life at Flipkart.
So for me, the Sustainability Summit has really been about, having the privilege to talk to these illustrious people who are really at the top of their field, and there's no debating that. And for them to be so, so well informed and so knowledgeable, and to still have the kind of humility that you need to make real change is what set the Sustainability Summit apart from other events of its kind. And it was the first virtual conference I ever attended, so I love the way it was put together.
Attending the Flipkart Sustainability Action Summit this year was a great experience. I've never attended a virtual conference before, so to see that we could replicate a physical event and make it so real in the virtual space was truly amazing. And there was a wealth of knowledge that was discussed in this summit. There was just so much to grasp, so much to learn, and I think it left me inspired too. There's just so much that we can do in small ways in our home to try and make the smallest change possible. I think all in all, it was a great experience.
The summit was really insightful and the speaker sessions were excellent. I was so happy to know that Flipkart is taking sustainability so seriously, and it was great to know all the initiatives that are happening now and that are to come. Very proud to be a Planeteer.